Hey folks, Dude here, and well, it's time to talk about a video, and, a movie. So, it's going to be coming to video soon. Don't worry about that. It'll definitely be going to on demand, and it'll be in your DVD racks in a big hurry. I'm talking about Disney's offering, and I'm talking about, of all movies, I'm talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, the movie itself, by and large, contains some secondary actors, with the exception of Miss Saldana, who is just yummy in green, let me say. Dave Bautista, and I forget the guy who is actually the lead role, but he actually had like a kind of secondary character role that was in the movie Wanted. That was, the guy basically realizing that he's like some uber badass, total, just almost mutant level of just ridiculously fast, incredibly accurate type of just assassin type of dude. But needless, neither here or there. The movie itself is one of those movies, you need to see it. Trust me on this. You need to spend the extra couple bucks, see it in 3D, or, like I did, see it in IMAX. Now, normally what I'll do when I'll see a movie in IMAX is I'll go dead center. Just give me 1 second here. Tiggy juice. Good stuff. So anyway, normally what I'll do is I'll go dead center, and I'll try to get myself pretty much center of the audience, because you got to remember, IMAX is a semi-curved screen. So if you're off to one side, everything's going to be kind of like, cocked off, or it's going to be taller, it's going to be stretched out, it's going to be, it's going to be trapezoidal. It's not going to look right. Do not sit off center if you're watching a movie in IMAX. You want to be dead center, as much to the center of the screen as what you could possibly be. If you figure out like a focal point, for me anyway, what I normally try to do is I'll try to be about 10 rows back, dead center. Now, acoustically, the place was loud. I mean, I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. It was loud. I almost a couple times got out and said, you know what? You guys need to jack this down about 2 steps, because it's almost like needing to wear hearing protection loud. It was like some of the thunderous explosions, some of the fanfare kind of blaring things, you're listening to this kind of blah, that stuff is just ridiculously loud. Plot twist itself, let me go with the movie now. The movie basically describes the story of a kid who gets picked up by aliens, and he's now in the universe of wherever the heck it is. Now, there is a bunch of worlds. There's some very human-looking people there. To them, the darker-skinned people are red. So pretty much that's where you see like the promo where he's like flipping off the guy, and you see that the guys in like, the obvious cop uniforms. Those are the good guys, okay? These are the people they're trying to solve, because several billion people or what have you. The guy that is like, the weird black thing around his face and whatnot, that's the bad guy. And let's just say, if you guys are fans of the Marvel Universe, it includes Thanos, and I do mean Thanos, Thanos. He's there, okay? He's not like the little pop-up cut screen ahead in like some of the other movies where you see him just like, kind of like, okay, Thanos will be coming up in the other movies, just stay tuned. No, he actually has a fairly, not a huge role, but he has a role in this movie, and they're setting it up for him to come on later on board. Now, the actual plot of the movie itself is decent. I mean, of course, you had like, the Vin Diesel character, Groot, and all he says is, I am Groot. That's all he says through the whole movie, I am Groot. There is a little bit of a surprise on that, but I'm not going to give it away. But literally, he's saying, I am Groot, all through the whole movie. I am Groot. And, of course, the raccoon, Rocket Raccoon, I thought was kind of really just like, he's a toss-off character. He was not good. The guy that plays the lead, Star-Lord, whatever, he's basically a human who's now in this universe where he basically has to make his bones and try to make a living being a scrounger, kind of picking stuff up around and, making his bones. He's kind of one of these chaotic neutral guys. Where the fight is, I'm going to try to avoid the fight, but if it's something that works for me, I'll fight. He's kind of an anti-hero. Zoe Saldana, she's a badass, okay? She's just a badass. She's fun. She's also really, really cute, dressed up in green in the way they had her done, so she's definitely the sex symbol. The Groot character is CGI. The Rocket Raccoon is obviously CGI. My favorite character of that whole movie is Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista is this big wrestling type guy, and he's got this presence that's really kind of cool, but they made sure in the trivia that if you look it up on IMDb, he went back and did some additional acting classes. It shows, okay? The guy really can play like this really deeply torn, fractured, kind of, just acting out kind of an individual, but yet there's more levels to him. And it's fun. I mean, he actually plays a really cool character. The whole movie, by and large, is not exactly short. There's pretty much a heck of a lot of action. Of course, it's a typical, ship combat in space, and there's some more like ship-to-ship combat on ground, and a lot of hand-to-hand, a lot of chopsaki, a lot of copious firepower. If you guys are looking for stuff that doesn't really have a lot of explosions and gunplay, don't watch this movie, okay? But the thing about it is I was very impressed with it, because the thing about it is Marvel, and it's a Marvel comic that came from 1969. It's one of these things you really kind of have to be like one of these serious comic guys to even really know about Guardians of the Galaxy. It is a very tangential, compartmentalized, not hugely popular branch of those comics that Marvel did as like a couple runs. And by and large, it's so obscure that they could pull this thing up and go, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy, boom. And only the comic guys are going to go, oh, you know what? You really didn't say that part right. Or you really didn't make this part so inclusive. Oh, you didn't really, justify this character's blah, blah, blah. Let me just say that the backstory on it is enough that even if you have not even ever heard of Guardian of the Galaxy, you're going to get this movie, and it works just fine. By and large, the thing is, the character structure is such that, all these guys, they're fractured individuals, they're, broken individuals, they're losers, they're this, they're that, and they all come together as a group of screw-ups who try to make things right. I'm not going to give any plot twists away, but let's just say it's kind of cool to see that a little bit of the character development. It's not quite as like deep and intense as like you would think of like a serious Russell Crowe movie or something along those lines. It's okay for Disney. Now the cool thing is also because it's Disney and Disney owns Marvel, there's a lot of money involved. Okay, I mean this movie definitely shows the fact that they actually put a lot of time and effort into it. The CGI is dead on. I mean there's no holes, no lines, no green screen, no rotoscoping. It looks fake. It literally looks like a good movie. The problem is when Disney does anything, it becomes very Disney. It becomes very Disney. Okay, it gets very schlocky, and just watch 2 hours of Disney XD and your head will explode. Trust me, it gets very schlocky, very corny, very kind of stupid, and everything is nice and good and happy. And no, this is not this movie. That is not this movie at all. What Disney said, okay, is this is the Marvel branch. We're going to pull back. We're going to let you guys do what you need to do. And this is, if you were to say that this is a Disney movie, it is the darkest Disney movie ever. Even knocking out, like the latest really dark ones that you thought would like witches involved and all the rest of that fun stuff. No, this one's actually dark where it needs to be dark, and the characters are just bad guys. And I do mean bad guys. Like Thanos being like, not quite even as nasty as the guy that's like the main perpetrator. Trust me on this one. Okay, so the long and the short is you guys are now going, is this movie worth watching? Yes, I'm going to tell you right off the bat. I'm going to give this movie 5 stars out of 5 stars. Why? It actually brought some emotive aspects out of it that you actually are rooting for the good guys. That's a rarity in today's movies. Either it's just kind of like, cut and dry, or it's rote, or it's just really not that good. Not the case with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's actually very, very well done. And you actually start to care about these guys. And I rather enjoyed it. I would go back and I would see it again, most definitely. And when it comes out on video or comes out on demand, you probably would want to see it. But trust me, if you get a chance before this thing goes out of the theaters, see it at least in 3D. And if you get the chance, spend the extra couple bucks. It was like $17 for, IMAX, but it played to it, okay? Trust me on this one. Some of the really expansive space battles and stuff, the IMAX truly made it that much better. I'm going to break off on this one, folks. Eat good, keep it 10 ring as always, always. Space battle goodness. Dave Bautista kicking ass, too. Was not bad either. See you guys.